Purpose of life. This could be the most intriguing and could be the most important question of our existence, which is pretty brief. So, this question has been this question has been thought by mankind for a very long time. And broadly, there are two trains of thoughts. One, that our existence and life on this earth has a purpose. And the other is it's all random. It has no purpose. So if something which exists and it is existing without a purpose, then it doesn't make any sense. And something not making any sense, we call it nonsense. So those are the humans who have concluded that this is the random exercise of some kind and their existence is some kind of random chance, right? What they have already concluded in their minds is this is completely something which does not make any sense to them. They will just come into existence, they will live their lives, and they will die. Their lives and their deaths and their actions are of no consequence. And this is completely what we call nonsense. So those of us who have concluded that this is nonsense, right? Yes, will not be able to figure it out how this makes sense, except that they have to make a choice of start investigating that there could be a reason behind this existence. So today I will address these skeptical minds, right, who think that this is an exercise with an objectivity behind it, and give them some food for thought, right, of the reason of existence of us on this planet. So let's start going into a little more depth of the reasons of this existence. My first point is the design of human beings themselves. Human design, especially the brain design, is called choice-based design. And the animal design is instinct-based design. The humans have the ability to choose from truthfulness and lying, from humility to arrogance, to selfishness to selflessness, to a thinking mode to a non-thinking mode, to a mode in which we are reasoning, and to the mode that we do not want to engage in reasoning. And that's unique in a human beings. So animals are designed on their instincts. And in the instincts, if you go near a snake, he's going to bite you. If I go near a snake, he bites me. If you go near a snake, he leaves you. Then he's making a choice. But he's only designed on self-defense. He means no harm to us. So that's why if a man goes into a lion's den and lion kills him, nobody will blame the lion. They'll blame the man, because man had sense to separate and choose not to go into the situation in which lion may kill him, and no blame on the lion. So that's the first point basically, yes. The design of humans themselves is unique. Now, point number two, right, yes. If this life on the earth has been created and we created as part of it, even the best brains so far have been unable to clearly tell the origin of life on this planet. And all theories have practically fallen apart. So, why it is so difficult to get to the bottom of this matter? It's been designed like that. For some brains, right, yes, they will investigate, right, and they will investigate and they will conclude this is just, why bother to check it out? Why waste our time in trying to find out the reason for our existence? Just you are in existence now. Just have a good time, enjoy your life, and nothing more than that. It is only about some sensory pleasures, food, mating, some kind of movies enjoyment, and subsequently dying. And that's a silly notion right there, because that activity is making no sense, right? Yes, because the technology required to create living things, as we know now, is extremely complex. It's far more complex than anything which we have produced so far. So, if the technology which we are producing is not produced by random chance, so technology through which we are produced, also which is far more complex, cannot be produced by no random chance. Now let's do some investigative work. Let's ask this question to yourself. Did you choose to come into existence? All of us will agree we have not chosen to become alive. So if you're not choosing to become alive, then how could you are being subjected to somebody else's choices? If this is your own life, how could you are not deciding to have it yourself? So, are the parents making the choice of bringing us into existence? Now, I will give you some clues to make you understand that neither the parents have made the choice, neither we have made the choice. We have been subjected to somebody else's choices. So, let's investigate this process through which we have been created, which we call mating. All animals mate and humans mate. So we are all a product of mating. Now, apparently, it looks simple, mating and then we coming into existence. But when you really examine it and think about it, it is not mating, it is actually baiting. How it is baiting? Because baiting means that without some incentive to mate, nobody will mate. Just like you want to catch a fish, without giving incentive to the fish to come, putting the bait on the hook, you can't get no fish. So without the incentive of orgasm, used as a baiting tool to lure us into this mode of enjoyment, to give us this gratification, nobody will mate. And if nobody will mate, we will cease to exist. Let's analyze this baiting process. In the case of the male, he will only get orgasm at the release of the sperms. If he gets orgasm without release of sperms, we will cease to exist. In the case of the female, her release of the egg is not depending on her orgasm. So in her case, it is irrelevant, egg is there or not, she keeps getting orgasms. So it looks like this is carefully engineered and designed, right, to lure us into this trap, what we called mating. So somebody told me, look, my parents have made me. I said, look, why don't you go and ask them, have you made me? They have only two answers, yes or no. So I did the same thing to my parents. So I asked my mom, did you made me? So mom had to reply yes or no. If she has replied yes, then what she was implying, telling me that she has engineered and designed this body which I'm using right now. So, as a consequence of her design, I have become old. So, and old means I will die. So, it means she is intending to kill me while creating me. While we know that the mothers and fathers want to protect the child from dying. So if they want to protect the child from dying, how could they design the child to die? Then why will they take the child to a doctor? Which engineer or manufacturer of a car will tell somebody coming to fix it, to go to a mechanic, while they are the ones who design the car and say, well, we can't fix it, take it to a mechanic. So if parents have made me, then one kidney fails, they should be able to supply another kidney. And then any part, if they could make it one time, they can make it again. Well, we know they can't. In reality, they did not make us even for the first time. It only looks outwardly that the parents are making the child. Parents are only being used in this process, and many of us are caught up without much investigation that the parents have nothing to do with it. They're just a vehicle through which we have been launched. Vehicle which has been used to launch us, just like their parents were used to launch them. So this is another point I'm trying to make, to make somebody understand that if you are not going to investigate this matter seriously, right, you will just never get to the bottom of this matter. And as you will stay superficial, right, our life will be just life of any other animal on this planet, who's born, who eats, who excretes, who reproduces, and who dies, without ever finding it out why they were born and why they died. In the case of the human, this brain which we have is called a pondering brain. Now, how does the pondering brain works? Let me give an example to you. When Newton saw the apple falling from the tree, he started thinking, what is actually pulling this apple down? And through that, gravity was discovered. So the same process of reasoning we can ask the question, why is the tree making the apple? While tree doesn't eat the apple himself, and tree is not aware of our existence, while we are aware of tree's existence. So how could tree produce an apple hanging on it? For whom? Without even knowing anybody is there around it. So somebody says, look, the tree wants to spread the seeds through us or through the birds. I said that implies tree knows that we exist. And with the knowledge that which the tree acquired that we exist, he's planning a strategy to use us to spread his seeds. And that's the baloney. That can be true, right? Tree has no eyes to see us. He can't hear us either. He doesn't know us either. He doesn't know who is the beneficiary of the apple I am producing. So look at the vegetables and all the food which we eat. The source is plants and the source are trees. And the meat we eat of the chicken is also indirectly the same source. So without these plants and trees, we will have no food and we will all die. And we won't be in existence right now. So it seems like that we are being fed here indirectly. The word is indirectly. So the provision of food to us and our creativity is indirect creativity, not a direct creativity. It only appears to us parents are making us. It only appears to us that tree is making the apple. But in reality, something else is going on. Now we know that the tree producing the apple and a human being are both linked due to what we call DNA. Now, DNA is linking us with the tree, and we as humans have discovered the what we call the origin of life up to the limit, up to the level of DNA. So, if we examine what is DNA, it looks like it's a pretty complicated software program. And this program is all around us, from bird flying to a fly to a frog to all life on this earth. But this is all interconnected programming. The tree is exhaling oxygen, we are exhaling carbon dioxide. Both need each other. Now, neither we are choosing to become humans, nor the tree is choosing to become a tree. It is the DNA software program which is creating the shape and the function of a tree and the function of the human and his brain. Now, the question is, how could this intricate and interconnected programming can come into existence on its own and start functioning in such a harmony? Some say it's a chance, right? I say, look, think twice, right? Yes, what a chance. The people who take this idea of chance, right, they don't want to think critically. They want these lives they're living, right, and they won't live these lives without any objectivity behind them, so that they can live it the way they think life should be lived without even knowing what's the objectivity behind it. And that's quite unfortunate for humans to live like that. Live this life without knowing why they became alive and why they died at the end. So let me give an example to you. There's a farm and there are cows in the farm. The farmer comes every day and feeds the cows. The cows are practically unaware why they're being fed, while the farmer is quite aware of why the cows are being fed. As the cows are cows, they can't have this question in their mind why the farmer comes every day and feeds them and give them food and water. Now replace the cows with humans in that farm. Something interesting will start happening. Humans will split in two groups. One group will say, look, who cares why the clouds move and rain comes? Who cares why an apple grows on a tree and fruits and vegetables grow on plants? Just enjoy, have a good time, right? Other group is saying, look, there is something going on. There's something out of the ordinary here. This is making no sense. Why are we in this farm? And why are we being fed and nourished over here? Who is the farmer? And why are we being farmed over here? Now, if you realize this group of humans are the real humans, the rest are the cows. They only look human here. By looking like human, we don't become human. The only way we become human here is by knowing why we are humans. So when we ask someone, who are you? The guy says, I'm a human being. I said, that is not true. That seems like a false claim. The guy says, how could this is a false claim? I said, look, I'm a doctor. I'm claiming to be a doctor. You ask me which college I went to. I said, none. Which book I read? I said, none. Which hospital I worked? None. Which qualification I got? None. So how could I claim to be a doctor without knowing what a doctor is? So how could a human being claim to be a human without understanding why is he a human? He thinks he's a human but doesn't know why is he a human. That's what the catch is. Right, yes. If he will not come out of this cow mentality, he will stay subhuman and never become human. The only way he will become human when he has complete understanding of why he is a human. Otherwise, he will live his life without practically having any understanding of why he kept himself sane as a human being and kept living this life with the knowledge that he was a human but never thinking why. So if you thought good about this idea which I presented about human and why we are human, and not knowing why we are human, and living this life without knowing why we are humans, right? And it does not bother us a bit that we have no clear answers that why we are humans. So with this idea that I want to live my life without knowing why I'm alive, without knowing why I'm getting older, and without knowing why I will die, and thinking it was just some kind of random processes through which I was created. It was just a lucky shot, right? through which I was conceived. It was just a random process through which I was created. So let's look at it a little bit more closely. The child is in a mother's womb, as we were, and as you were. And as you were inside, you don't know there is outside. You don't know there's a world outside while you were thinking there's a world inside. You could hear the sound from outside at a certain point. Don't know what's going on outside. Now imagine the ability of brain you have right now. If you had the same brain ability you have right now in the mother's womb, you'll be thinking in the mother's womb, who is talking outside? Where the sounds are coming from? Why I am in this world or this container I am in? What is truly happening here? Why I'm so lonely here? I've talked to nobody. And then at one point, you find contractions, something pushing you somewhere. And you're thinking, what is going on? I was so comfortable. Now I'm put in a small tunnel and being pushed out. I don't feel good. And then I am pushed out and my face comes out and I see something outside. People. And I ask the question, who are you guys? What are you doing here? What planet is this? What place is this? What time is this? What century is this? Where did I come out from? And what is happening here? So you will have tons of questions at the point of the birth. You see my point here? But the brain at the point of the birth doesn't have ability, hasn't grown to the point you have and me have right now. If the same ability I have and you have right now, we had at that point, we will have a lot of questions at the entry to this planet Earth. But it's done deliberately, that we don't have the ability to ask any questions at that time frame, at that moment of birth, in the time frame of our stay in the mother's womb. And then slowly we are conditioned to this planet. Birds flying, sky is blue, parents hugging the child, toys around us. So we are slowly being accustomed to this planet Earth, never realizing how did we end up here. So it's done deliberately. It's done deliberately so that first brains will get conditioned, and when they will reach the point of maturity and the brains we have right now which can ask this question, many or majority will not ask this question. And if they will not ask the question, they are not curious and they have too much being in the box. Now, to ask this question, why are you here? You have to think outside the box. So the society we live in and the world we are in slowly boxes up our minds. And I'll just give an example to you. We're in a plane at 40,000 feet up in the air. And suddenly all engines shut down. The plane is still gliding, it's not crashing down. The people in the plane are doing what? Somebody is watching a movie, somebody is playing games, somebody is having his coffee, and somebody is having food. They're all busy. They're all distracted from the true reality. The planes have lost all engines. Now, who knows that these engines have shut down? Pilot is one person. And the second person who knows the these engines have shut down is the one who is thinking or seeing outside the window and seeing the ground more reaching faster and getting closer plane to the ground. Now, as most of the people who are in the plane are distracted, they will not get to know the engines have shut down. And this is the reality of our lives. We are on a plane which is crashing. We have bodies which are dying. And we are busy watching movies. We are busy chillaxing here and not thinking for a minute why we are in a plane which is crashing. Why do we have bodies which are dying? And who's going to board us up in such a plane which is for surely crashing? And these questions are out of the box questions. Majority of humans, right, are busy cutting their cakes. They cut their cakes and people clap, right, and they celebrate the first birthday to their 70th, 80th birthdays. Now, each birthday and each cake they cut is a milestone, right? It's a milestone which they have moved forward in time. Now, why they are celebrating their birthday is making no sense. First of all, they are not born that day. But why? Because the baby already exists in the mother's womb. So the point of conception is the point of birth, not when the baby comes out from the womb out to this world is. And then onward, every year we get closer and closer to our death. Just like somebody is holding a time bomb and is being told that within 80 clicks it will explode. So each click, he cuts a cake and he rejoices on each click. But each click is moving it forward to kill him. So slowly we are being executed while being given death sentence already. And we act so foolish that we are busy cutting cakes, not realizing that we are losing time. So life is a constant loss of time. And as we are being boxed up, we are unable to think outside the box. And when the plane will hit the ground, we will hit the ground cutting our cakes. And what a state of affairs of human beings they are in. So now I will explain it to you. Why are we going through this process of life and death? And tackle this question to give you some clarity on the subject. So far, I had given you some clues. to make you understand that there's something going on. One more clue for you. When a baby comes out, right, the mother's breast get the milk. How could by random chance, right? The mother doesn't decide to have the milk. Who knows the baby has come out from the body, right? So who's feeding the child? Is the mother really feeding the child? She can't feed the child without milk in her breast. So in reality, she is not feeding the child. Child is being fed through the milk in her breast, just like the apple from the tree. But it only looks like outwardly that we are getting our nourishment through this process. Look at the sperms going in the female body. They know to swim, they know to go where to go to. How do they know where to go? Because they have never been there before. So what's the answer to the question? Many will say, well, this seems like a good chance that they know where to go to. They are the believers in chance. So all of us have to believe something here. Many will choose to believe in chance, and consequently they'll be doomed because they have chosen something which is absolutely making no sense, even to themselves. And consequently, they have chosen nonsense. Now I will tell you what this is all about. Just the design, as I explained earlier, is a choice-based design. Choose A or choose B. This design itself, without us telling anything, nobody telling us anything, just the design of this machine as we are itself is telling us this is some kind of examination going on. Choose to lie, tell the truth. Choose to become humble or become arrogant. Choose to become selfish, choose to become selfish. So this is a hallmark of some kind of examination by somebody. So in this examination, and this is in this examination hall which we are in, which is called planet Earth, is like a platform created to test a product. So we are the product which is being tested. It's a choice-based design product. And somebody can think and choose to think, and somebody will choose not to think about it. And that's how the product is being tested. So if you investigate this matter more closely, whoever is behind this is acting invisible. So this examination is being conducted in an environment in which the one who's conducting the examination is not visible to the ones who are being examined, for a good reason. We have to be examined in an environment which is free of coercion, free of fear. Just like if I want to know a cashier which I've hired is honest or dishonest, if I sit down in front of him, he will not steal. although he's dishonest. So what do? I leave, I'm the boss, I hide him, I just put some hidden cameras and make him feel that he's not being watched. But in reality, he has I have been watching him all along. And the moment I left, he starts stealing money. That's what is being done to us. These complicated machines as we are and the complicated environment which we are in is no random chance. It's a deliberate exercise in which we are being tested in primarily two areas. The first area of testing basically is, will we like to find out who has made these bodies which we are using? If you start thinking, you must think at least this much, that you got these bodies free of charge. You have paid no money to acquire them. So, if something is free and you've paid no money to get it, there has to be some catch in it. If you think there's no catch in it, you're not really thinking. Nobody gives something for free. So, what is the catch in it? The first catch in it is not really yours. You cannot prove that this body you are using is yours. Pull out your birth certificates and see what does it says. It's not like a title of a car, title of a house. It doesn't tell you who owns it. The title of a car, it does tell you who owns it, how much money has been paid, who manufactured it. The title in the birth certificate, it says live birth, parent so and so, name so and so. That's it. It doesn't tell you who has made the child. It doesn't tell you who owned the child. Because if technically the parents own the child, then under law, they can also kill the child. Because just like I own the car, I have the right to destroy this car because I own it. So the parents don't own the child, or the child owns his own self here. It's only outwardly that people think that they are owned, that they own themselves. So if you cannot prove it to me that you own yourself, then nothing you think you own can be yours either. So money lying in the bank can be yours. The house you live in could be paid off, can be yours either. The children you got can be yours either. The wife you got can be yours either. Because you don't even own your own self. So this delusion which we humans have, that this sense of ownership they got of their own bodies, is completely false. And because this first delusion they got, that they think they own themselves, they will start owning everything else here. And then realize when they drop dead here that they never owned anything. Right? So, what a tragic situation with humans, right? They don't even want to think what this body is actually made of from. So when you ask somebody, tell me what this machine you're using, this body, is made of from. They will say water, and then they start calcium, magnesium, carbon. I said, yeah, they're all heavy metals, iron. I said, look, to simplify it, you're made of only two things, water and dirt. And these two things coming together in a certain arrangement. And the arrangement is you, this machine working. Just like the car. Car is also arrangement of material in a certain order. So now it may be clear to you it's not your own body, it's only water and dirt. It has no value as far as material is concerned. So this machine is available to you for a certain duration of time. In this machine is operating on its own internally and is only giving you certain area of choices. So first I said was an area of finding out who is the maker of this machine. That's the first part of the test. Because if you are a grateful person, if you have any sense of decency, you must be thankful at least to your parents, at least, that they took care of you. Mother had to go through all the trouble to give you birth. You should have some love for them if they took care of you. While it should be clear to you now, they have not even made you, but they do love you and you love them. So if they are the ones who took care of you and you love them and you owe your life to them, now you know they have not made you. So will you not like to trace the one who has really created you? And that's the first part of the test. An idea, a sense of gratitude and gratefulness. That do you find yourself as a grateful and thankful human being, or you are not thankful? So if you're not thankful, that's a choice you're making. The second part of the examination is if you did determine that you are grateful to the creator or the maker of this body which you are using, then can you identify correctly this creator? Will you show gratitude to a rock, to a stone, to a statue, to the moon, to the sun, to any humans, to something which has been created? Or you will singularly identify the creator behind this? So if you have understood so far the points I've made to you, you must have understood what you're going through is something real serious. Because if you have been given death sentence, you must take this death sentence seriously. You're going to die. That's death sentence. This is prison. You've been brought here without your choice, without your own free will. So might as well check it out why you're in this prison. Don't get distracted by all these distractions here. When your sentence is over, you will die. And then you will be told, how was your test results were. So this is some food for thought for you for today. And I hope this benefits you and gives you some clarity of thought. Write down your comments, please. And any questions you have, I'll be so gladly willing to answer your questions. But your questions have to be based on sound reasoning. Without reasoning, this human brain is no good. Thank you.